favorite show, Sports Unfolded, with your favorite hosts, Eric and Ron.
Hey, sports fans! Welcome to the best sports podcast on the planet, Sports Unfolded. I am your host with my main man right over there. Ron, how are you tonight?
I'm doing quite well.
A little more normal now. We're not early morning.
Yeah,
It really messed us up. But check out NHL playoff show we did this week, plus the NBA as well. We cover all of the top sports stories going on in the world today. We would love to get some fan participation. So if you are joining us live tonight, make sure you chime in, chat with us, let us know what you want to talk about, or if you have an opinion on any of the stories that we're going to cover, and let us know what you think.
Yeah,
But
absolutely.
Ron, it's been a fun sports week, and I'm looking forward to getting into it with our leadoff story, and that is the Boston Celtics, who have taken a 2-0 lead in their Eastern Conference Finals against the Indiana Pacers. Halliburton now questionable game 3 with a hamstring injury. Should we consider this an easy road for the Celtics and in a sweep?
I mean, it should be. It should be. And I say should be because we know the Celtics can't get up for every game. We know this. And that has been a big problem, to be honest with you, in the postseason. And, but look, I mean, they're not facing Milwaukee and 76ers. You know, this should have been an easy road to the finals for them. And while the West is just beating each other up. So it should have been easy.
Yeah, I would look at it. So right now, Pascal Siakam, is their leading scorer. Halliburton's their second leading scorer, 18.7 points per game. Yeah. And he's their top assist guy with 8.2. We know the offense flows around him. Yep. So for Boston, I mean, realistically, all you really have to do is continue doing what you're doing, right? Put some pressure, make them listen. Game 1 should have been an Indiana win. I think we can all agree with that.
Yeah.
Game 2, I think Boston, for the most part, showed their dominance. Yes, this is the NBA. Runs are made. I mean, somebody's up by 25, you're like, oh, game's over. You come back, 10 minutes later, it's tied again.
Oh, absolutely.
But you could see every time Indiana made a run, Boston just came back, made another run of their own.
Yeah.
So I don't see how Indiana realistically can win another game in this series if Halliburton isn't playing.
No, I don't think so. And if he's going to be hobbled, I mean, they're only going to be able to do so much. And if the Celtics get their big boy back, then that's even more of a problem.
Realistically, though, if you go up 3-0 and Porzingis is cleared to play,
I don't bring him in. No, I don't bring him in.
Do you not get him some minutes just to try to see how he feels?
Well, maybe like a couple of minutes to get some laps up and down the court, but that's about it.
Just some stamina. So realistically, we criticized Jason Tatum, who didn't have a very good game 2, okay game 2, but he is averaging a double-double in the playoffs. I think it's 25 points, 10.2 rebounds. Jaylen Brown almost at 25, had 40 in game 2. Those two guys get you 30 points a game. And if Derek White, Drew Holiday, one of those guys chip in with another 20, guess what? They're going to be very hard to beat.
Yeah, and that's without Porzingis in there. I mean, that's crazy. Derek White has shown up. Even their backups have been playing pretty well.
Yeah, Peyton Pritchard's looked decent.
He's looked good.
So, Ron, let me ask you this question, because this sounds crazy. Are you worried, though, that if they do get through this, without being challenged that could set them up for failure in the finals.
It
If
could.
this is an easy road, so realistically, the NBA finals start June 6th.
Yeah.
It's a 10-game layover for the Boston Celtics if they win in 4,
Right.
which means they don't play for 10 days.
Yeah, and when you think about who they're going to have to face if they do, in fact, advance, you got to play against either Minnesota or Dallas. And they both scare me for different reasons. First of all, that defense from Minnesota, that could stop the Celtics. You know, they have the size, and look, if they're not going to if the Celtics don't get rebounds, and then they're not going to dominate the middle either. So, and then the other side of the fact is then you have to face, if you're not facing them, you're going to have to face Luka and Kyrie. And Kyrie is going to show up to play against you.
Without a doubt, especially in Boston.
So it's scary either way. And I don't know if the Celtics metal can handle it.
Right, we're in this rare situation where a sweep may not be good for this team. You may want this to go to 6 games because I think they need that kind of challenge and have to face some adversity. This has been very easy road.
Yeah.
Right? Cleveland.
It's been too easy, frankly.
Donovan Mitchell goes down in 5 and 6. They didn't have Jared Allen. I mean, they're not playing the top stars in any of these series. If now Halliburton's out, it blows my mind. And I'm kind of concerned that this is going to seem too easy.
I'd be concerned if I was every Celtic fan. Because, look, we know that fourth quarters and just getting up for a game plagues this team something awful.
But we saw it yesterday, right? Game 2. You seen in game 2, finally, they actually responded yesterday. So then I'm like, okay, wait, they figured it out. But now I'm like, is this the right time to figure it out? Because now you want them to kind of go 6 and just have, less of a layover. To me, 10 days is a lot.
Hey, the good thing is that Jaylen Brown showed that he can be clutch.
Yeah. Game 1 with the 3-pointer.
And that's
game 2 with 40 points.
And I know Jason Tatum came up with a big shot in overtime, and I get it, but he still stunk in that fourth quarter in that first game. And I don't know. I'd be a little worried.
We'll have to see how this turns out. But again, if you're joining us live, let us know. What do you think? Should the Boston Celtics, is that a good thing if they sweep?
Yeah.
And I would say it's probably not. All right, Ron, we're going to talk some NFL, but let's thank everybody out there. We are on all social media platforms, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Facebook. We are on WDJY 99.1 FM in Dallas, Georgia, every Saturday from 1 to 3. Check us out live on Fridays, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We are on Southeast Connecticut, public access, channel 12, every Tuesday at 10 p.m. on channel 12. Check us out. Watch us live every Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Join us. Let us know what you think about the show. And later on in the show, we'll let you know how you could be a sponsor and get hundreds of thousands of eyes and ears on your business every single week. But, Ron, it is NFL time, and a lot of talk has come out recently about the Detroit Lions. So we decided we're going to tackle it. No pun intended. You like what I did there?
Yeah, but you should tell the truth. You should never be lying.
Never be lying. Should we consider the Detroit Lions a Super Bowl favorite?
No. No, I don't think we should yet. Well, what have they done? They got to the conference finals, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, as far as I know, they still have to get by San Francisco. But it's not going to be easy because now you have Philadelphia coming back, with their improvements. and dare I say, those Dallas Cowboys, even though I think they could never get to the Super Bowl, but you still have Kansas City. Kansas City
Well,
is the
to
team.
get to the Super Bowl, I don't think they're favorites to win it. To get to the Super Bowl, I would say, I think right now they have the fourth best odds, according to Vegas. They have the talent. Offensively, they're loaded. Aiden Hutchinson on defense, right? Jared Goff, we've seen the maturity and jump that we never expected, right? But we've seen a lot from this team. Here is where I say why they can't be a favorite. There is still one piece that has to improve, and that's Dan Campbell. Because realistically, they should have been in the Super Bowl last year.
Right.
Has he learned from that mistake? Will he make the correct decisions in critical moments? Right? Because now, if you look at it, their division is pretty much open. Bears, Vikings are in the rebuilds or whatever's going to happen there. Green Bay looks like they could be contenders, but I still don't think they're better than Detroit. So they should win their division. So you say, okay, they're in the playoffs. But now you're going to face a Kyle Shanahan who's done a very good job in the postseason, other than in the Super Bowl. And now the expectation is all of a sudden Dan Campbell's going to figure it all out. I need to see more proof that Dan Campbell is going to make positive decisions during critical situations, which ultimately get them to a win. Because last season, it was a lock. They had it. Everything worked in their favor. They stayed healthy. They played well. Offensively, they looked like juggernauts. Defensively, they figured some things out. And then the coach makes a bad decision to not take points when points are in front of you and ultimately cost you the game.
Yeah. So, but the way I look at it, who did Philadelphia pick up during the offseason so far?
Saquon Barkley is going to be a massive pickup for Philadelphia. But again, mentally, how are they? Are they stable? Agreed. On paper, Philadelphia looks like a very good team again.
Mm-hmm.
But they looked like a good team last year.
Yeah, and then they fell apart because most likely it was more one-dimensional than anything. And I think the team fell into like some sort of complacency with what they wanted to do every game, and every game should be a different season in my book. You go into one game in a week and it's different than every other game. There are different circumstances, there are different game plans, from the opposing team as well as your own team. And you can't look beyond that. And I think the team just got comfortable and figured that they were going to be okay. And they never made any changes. And that, of course, is the head coach's fault.
So I'll ask you this question, Ron, before we move on. If we're going to put all three quarterbacks in a bucket, so Jalen Hurts, Jared Goff, Brock Purdy, and those are your three NFC quarterbacks to get you to the Super Bowl. Realistically, Jared Goff might be the pick out of those three.
Yeah, no, not for me.
Who would be your pick?
I would pick Jalen Hurts.
I don't know last year. I got to see more. He had. I'm
you
afraid
have to see how this team bounces back. And that's the thing. You're looking at a team that completely fell apart at the end. So, yes, we need to see what they're going to bring to the table this season. Now, they're also going to be flying under the radar a little bit because of everybody talking about Detroit and San Francisco. So Philadelphia can quietly amass a great season, and then they have to not fall apart. That's what they got to work on. They just have to keep focus. And I think they lost focus of everything towards the end. And again, That is coaching. Can the coaches on that staff learn from that mistake?
Yeah, right. So your picks, you would go San Fran, Philly, Detroit in that order, if we're talking
No,
NFC?
I would think Philly, Detroit, San Francisco.
Wow, you're putting San Fran third now.
Yeah.
Oof. Wow, that's some controversy out there. If you're hearing it, let us know what you think. Because I don't know if I agree with Ron on that one. I'd still put San Francisco ahead of the other two.
Well, didn't they lose somebody?
They lost a few people, but I still think offensively they're the best team. So we'll see. Ron, great NFL talk, but it's time for pick and roll. Oh, no, it's time for starting five. That's where we're going.
Yeah, I was a little confused.
Starting five, basically, we decide on certain topics. This week's topic, 21 years ago, so 2003 draft, all the number one draft picks from 2003 to today, we had to decide who would be our starting five out of that group. So some good names. There's some real duds in there as well. I was really like, wow,
Yeah, there was some duds.
Yeah. So it's kind of interesting to see when we went through it, but
I think it was more duds than
yeah, there's some,
duds.
and then there's some guys like that are still too new that I couldn't put in there yet because they've only been around for a couple of years. But let's start off with our honorable mentions, Ron. I am first this week, so I will start us off. I had Derrick Rose as an honorable mention, one All-NBA, one MVP. Injuries just completely derailed his career. If you think about, he would have been a massive superstar. I also went Blake Griffin as an honorable mention. 5 All-NBAs. We just think of him as that leaping over a Kia car in the All-Star game, but he had a very good career. And then Anthony Edwards, 1 All-NBA, but I've seen enough in the few years he's been in the league that I really feel like I would have him close to being on my team. Those are my honorable mentions.
All right, I went with Anthony Edwards at the bottom of my list because he's not there yet. He hasn't played enough. Then I went John Wall. He has some good numbers. Just you just hurt.
Yeah,
and I would like to see him come back.
Hey, he's still in the league. He just doesn't play.
I would like to see him get back to that status that he was at because I think he has still a lot to offer, and a team just has to really give him some time. And then I had Derrick Rose as my third honorable mention. Again, he could have been a great player. Karl Anthony Towns, I have at my second honorable mention. Just not enough yet. Not enough. And, he doesn't have the accolades that I'd like to see a player get. Although if he wins a championship this year, that could do something for that. And then I have Andrew Wiggins as my bubble guy for he could have been in.
I think you went a little soft on this one. You went a little soft. I don't know, Andrew Wiggins.
Andrew Wiggins, yeah, he has good numbers. I like his numbers, but it just wasn't enough.
All right, so let's start off this list at 5. Ron, I had Karl Anthony Towns. 22.9 points, 10.8 rebounds. He averages a double-double, 3.2 assists. He's been a 4-time All-Star, 2-time All-NBA, and the Rookie of the Year. I went Karl Anthony Towns.
Yeah, I can see that. He's got the numbers to do it. But again, I just felt that he just didn't have any of the accolades that this needed to be something in there.
Well, 2 All-NBA is not bad.
No, it's not bad. I'm not saying that. My number 5, I actually put Blake Griffin in. I think his numbers are stellar. 19 points a game, 8 boards a game, 4 rebounds. And again, you mentioned this last time we talked about him. He's got the perfect numbers.
Yeah,
You know,
which is amazing.
all even numbers, no points. I just like his game. 6 All-Stars, 5 All-NBAs. He was a Rookie of the Year. I would have liked to see him win a championship, especially last year would have been nice, but
Yeah,
agreed.
Boston couldn't come through.
Nope.
No, listen, he very good player, and that's why he made my honorable mention. Because again,
yeah,
I agree with your numbers.
Put him in. He was on the bubble.
I just like Towns because of the double thing. I really that impressed me.
Mm-hmm.
So at 4, Ron, my starting 5, I went Kyrie Irving. 23.6 points
I think
per
we're going to
game.
have the same top 4, by the way.
4 rebounds, 5.7 assists, 8-time All-Star, 3-time All-NBA, Rookie of the Year in the one championship. Honestly, if he kept his head straight, he would have had much more than what he has currently.
Yeah.
Because I really see this guy as one of the top players in the league when focused.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, I was actually kind of surprised that he didn't have more accolades. But again, that is from in between the years.
Yeah.
He lets all of this stuff get in the way of him becoming possibly the best player in the league. He has the talent that he can be the best player in the league, but he doesn't have the mindset. But with that being said, in Dallas, it's different this year.
Yeah.
It's
Agreed.
different. I like what I'm seeing from Kyrie. I like what I'm seeing.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's see if we continue the trend then. At 3 for me, Ron, Dwight Howard. 15.7 points per game, 11.8 rebounds, 1.3 assists, 8-time All-Star, 8-time All-NBA, 5-time All-Defensive, 3-time Defensive Player of the Year, 5-time rebounding champ, and 1 championship. Here's a guy that I think should be on an NBA team still because I think he could contribute, and it's a shame he's not.
I was the same exact thoughts. This guy has the accolades, right? So that was the difference. Like, do I think Kyrie can be a better basketball player than Dwight Howard? Absolutely. The problem is Dwight Howard does it all across the board with all these different stats, and he comes to play every day. And this is why Dwight Howard is my number 3. Just because, when you all 5 all defensive, how has Kyrie not had 1?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He's a great basketball player. He should want to be the best at everything. He's that kind of a player, and he's let it slide on many occasions. So Dwight Howard, number 3.
Yeah. So at 2, Ron, I went Anthony Davis. 24.1 points per game, 10.6 rebounds, 2.5 assists, a 9-time All-Star, 5-time All-NBA, 3-time block champ, 5-time All-Defensive in the 1 championship, even though people say it shouldn't count because it's in 2020. I went Anthony Davis.
Yeah, I mean, when he's healthy, this guy is just unbelievable. And when he's motivated, it goes even beyond. So if you can get this guy healthy and motivated, he is going to dominate a game. And he can do that. 9 All-Stars and 5 All-NBAs, 5 All-Defensive, 3-time block champion. He's got the skills, the tools, whatever he needs to get the job done. Like I said, motivation.
Yeah, no, listen, I think if he stayed healthy, another guy we talk about health, there's just been so many questions about his health that, again, his numbers would be even better if he was playing consistently. This was an easy one at number 1, only because of the sheer amount of numbers that the man does own.
Yeah.
LeBron James at number 1, 27.1 points per game, 7.5 rebounds, 7.4 assists, but a 20-time All-Star, and now an NBA record, 20 All-NBAs, 6-time All-Defensive, 4-time MVP, 4-time champ. I know we dislike him for other reasons. Basketball skill-wise, what he's done in the game is simply remarkable.
Yeah.
Right?
He's been relevant, for 20 years. I mean, that says a lot, right? The points that he can put up, and just the all-around abilities. And we say a lot of things about a lot of different players, but he does, in fact, make other players better.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
He gives them the space, he gives them the time, because he's that much of a threat, and he can do pretty much anything he puts his mind to.
Yeah, listen.
Easy pick for number 1 for me.
Yeah.
And we did have the top 4 the same.
Lot of good guys. So let's talk a couple of those duds, though. I want Greg Oden. If you think about, I was like, holy cow, I forgot about him. There was definitely, again, Ben Simmons.
Oh my God, that's the biggest one, right?
Right, Ben Simmons has been pretty bad.
He's had good numbers when he was right.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
And it just, again, another guy that between Anthony Bennett.
Oh my
Cleveland's
God.
number 1 pick. That right. That was a really bad average. 4.4 points.
A lot of them were in Cleveland for number 1 picks.
And honestly, I think he only played 4 years. So pretty crazy.
Yeah, there's a few guys that didn't do much of anything.
Ron, before we go on to our NBA segment, did you want to put up the voting for the NBA Hall of Fame and WNBA Hall of Fame?
Absolutely. Perfect time for it.
Yes, it is. It is almost ending. You got about a week left to get your votes in currently right now for the NBA to vote in the next member of the Sports Unfolded Hall of Fame: Scottie Pippen, Charles Barkley, Patrick Ewing, Oscar Robertson, Kobe Bryant. Go to Sports Unfolded Sports poll page and vote for your pick right now. Charles Barkley, slim lead, very slim lead over Oscar Robertson. Can you get Oscar in? Let's get him in there. And then our first ever WNBA nominee will be elected as well at the end of the month. And those candidates are Cynthia Cooper, Lisa Leslie, Cheryl Swoops, Tina Thompson, and Sue Bird. All phenomenal players in the WNBA.
Yeah, you would like to see all of them in, but right
Cynthia
now we're
Cooper.
just working on the first one.
Yeah, Cynthia Cooper currently leading in that poll as well. Help us get our next inductees into the Sports Unfolded Hall of Fame. Vote currently at the Sports Unfolded Sports poll page. These are our current inductees into the Sports Unfolded Hall of Fame. Some phenomenal players and athletes in general. We got to kind of do one of these numbers. Hey, look at us. But so many great players, and we want to continue to add to this. Currently 24 athletes in the Sports Unfolded Hall of Fame, and we will continue to grow it each month. Help us. This is for the fans, voted by the fans. This isn't some media market or any. Nope. This is you, the fans out there, voting for these athletes to get in. This is a true Hall of Fame because this is athletes you feel deserve it. Pete Rose deserved to be in the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame. I know you disagree. Guess what? He is in the Sports Unfolded Hall of Fame because the fans say so. The fans make the decision.
No, that's good. That's what I've always wanted. I can voice my opinion.
No, we know your opinion.
And I do that
quite often.
But the fans, they vote, and that's what's important. They have a say in who's going in there and who doesn't. And we've already seen fans not vote in Barry Bonds and a few others as well. But Pete Rose actually beat out Barry Bonds, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, I believe he did. All right, let's continue this NBA talk, Ron. And we're going to talk about the Dallas Mavericks, who have taken a 1-0 lead in the Western Conference Finals What does Minnesota have to do tonight to even this series out?
They gotta show up for one. Like they have to play some defense. You can't let skill players like Luka and Kyrie
Get 30 points.
basically do what they want. I mean, right now, I'm not sure that they can stop them because the skill level of Minnesota really is underneath the boards, right? That's
Gobert and
where they're
Towns.
big
Yeah.
defensively. They're gonna have a hard time controlling Luka and Kyrie. I don't think they can come back from it, but they have to be able to put some pressure on them. They're gonna have to start changing a little bit of what they do. They have to put an extra guy on one of these guys that can just change from one to the other, and they're gonna have to keep somebody by themselves underneath. I mean, that's basically what you're gonna have to do. Maybe playing a zone.
What's kind of crazy, Ron, to your point, you mentioned it. They got out rebounded, right?
Yeah,
48 to
that's
40. Like that shouldn't have happened.
Right.
I will say this: you can't shoot 42.7% in a game and expect to beat Luka Doncic and Kyrie Irving. So
Right.
they've got to shoot better. Anthony Edwards,
That's what I say. You have to show up.
Ron, you're gonna love this stat because it's a hockey reference. Anthony Edwards a -1 in the game. Karl Anthony Towns a -5.
Yeah, I like that they're keeping them numbers now.
Right.
Like
so
that.
if you think about it, your two biggest stars while they were on the court actually underperformed.
Yeah.
That can't happen for you to win this game. And believe it or not,
can't.
Ron, Luka Doncic, a -9.
Yeah.
If I'm Minnesota, every time he's on the court, I'm attacking. Because that's the best opportunity you have to put some space in between you and Dallas. Luka Doncic is a defensive liability. Yes, he's phenomenal offensively, but we know that there's times he either gets lazy, takes plays off. He can still play defensively when he wants to. But if Minnesota is smart, go at Luka, try to get your points there because you know he's gonna match it on the other end. And I agree with you. They're at home. Utilize that advantage, the crowd.
Yeah.
Use your defense because I don't understand how you get out rebounded in a game at home with those two big men in the middle.
Yeah. Karl Anthony Towns and Rudy Gobert need to be better. You should not be giving up boards. Not like that. Not like that.
100%
That's
agree.
your game. I mean, you can't give it up.
So we will do our predictions at the end of the show. This is one of the games that we will be predicting. So we'll talk about who wins in that segment of our prediction show. But we're going to talk some Major League Baseball, Ron. We're going to talk about the New York Yankees. So New York Yankees owner came out discussing that the team will have to make some payroll cuts for next season. Do you think it makes sense to talk about this now as the New York Yankees are in first place in the American League East?
I think this is a smokescreen. I think they're making it look like they are going to be out of the market for big players. And, then come trade deadline, they're going to pull the trigger on something big. That to me is the Yankees at the top, right? I mean, they're not going to want to trim payroll if they're winning because they don't need to. They can still generate the money that it will take to pay for whatever they want to pay for.
Yeah, it blows my mind because there was something that the luxury tax, competitive wage tax, whatever it is, it's something stupid, but it was like $60 million if they're over the amount they're over again after this year.
Yeah, it does go up.
Yeah, the New York
Yankees.
I'd love to know what the New York Yankees. You know what? I'm going to look this up, Ron, while we're talking because I'm kind of curious. What are the New York Yankees worth? What do you think, Ron?
I'm gonna say about $1.5 billion.
7.55 billion.
Okay, so I was a little off.
Little off. So if I'm asking you about $60 million, if you can continue to have a competitive team, keep Juan Soto, keep Garrett Cole, who has a player option.
Yes.
You got
That's why I put him
Gleyber
there.
Torres, Alex Verdugo, Clay Holmes, Tommy Kane as some of just a few players that are up for next season. If you lose that amount of talent next year, you're not going to be very good, especially Soto.
Yeah. Like, I think they'll keep Soto, and I think they'll keep Cole. I can see them letting Verdugo go and trying somebody
Verdugo go.
younger.
Can you say that again?
Yeah, he's go.
Verdugo go-go's. Ah, the go-go's. You met
Look, they can certainly try to replace Verdugo with some rookie that comes
He's
through the
playing
ranks.
well in New York, though.
He is. He's a good ball player. He's always been a good ball player.
James joining us from Fenway Park. We should have James join the show and show a little video of the Fenway. I'm going to send him an invite. Let's send James an invite.
Yeah, I mean, like, he can give us an update on the game that's about to start in about 20 minutes.
Chakra joining us as well.
There's Chakra. So if you're a Twitch gamer watching the show, you got to check out Chakra's stream. Fun stream. He plays all different kinds of games. Chakra_power. And of course, James, one of our faithful that comes in.
Yeah, we gotta make sure Chakra joins us for our prediction, because we gotta get some more up there for Chakra.
And he just subscribed for the 16th month in a row for Twitch.
Chakra is awesome.
The man.
We
and he's
appreciate you so much,
a Seattle body that comes in and watches us.
West Coast.
We all over the place.
Yeah, we are everywhere. So just getting back real quick, I don't understand how these big market teams continue to do this. I think they're the third highest payroll between the Dodgers and the Mets.
Yeah.
Like the Mets, I would understand saying we're cutting payroll. You haven't been successful. The New York Yankees, you're in first place. You're getting your best starting pitcher back.
Come on, it's a smoke screen.
I hope you're correct. As a Yankee fan, I hope you're correct. I'm just a little concerned that this becomes more business for this Steinbrenner versus the old Steinbrenner.
Look, they're gearing up for a couple of moves, and I've been looking at the free agent list coming up at the end of the season. There are some players that are going to be available on the mound. Presley from Houston could be available, especially if they're not going to be in it. They are still under 500, that club.
Yeah,
and they could be sellers. They could be. If they do, Presley is going to be the guy that fills somebody's bullpen. Another guy, Goldschmidt from St. Louis. He's an awesome player. I would love to see him in Boston or Kansas City. In case I switch over to Kansas City.
Yeah. I got what you're doing.
And let me tell you, Jordan Montgomery will be available. Wouldn't that be interesting if he went back to New York? That's a possibility. Other guys, Evaldi could be.
So you don't think this hurts their market, though, too? Do players look at it and say, why would I want to go to New York if they're already saying they're not going to pay people?
They'll go to win.
Okay.
They'll go to win.
All right.
And, so there's some guys out there, Scherzer, also in Texas. So if Texas starts falling further, you could see them unload.
Okay. All right. Very interesting conversation. Really excited to continue to talk Major League Baseball as well. Check out the Major League Baseball rankings. We post them every week. Right now, the Philadelphia Phillies remain our top team. And we want to thank Mickey for always providing those rankings for us. So outstanding job, Mickey, and continue to help us out here at Sports Unfolded. Ron, it is split decision time. All our split decision segment, basically, we give each other more likely scenarios, and we have to make a decision based off of what we've asked. I am first this week, so I will start us off with my first split decision.
Well, mine are going to be doozies.
Ron, who is more likely not to be with his team next season? Justin Jefferson or Dak Prescott?
I knew it was going to involve him. More likely, I'm going to say Justin Jefferson.
Not to be with his team.
Not to be with his team, because I think he's going to be one of those disgruntled players if things don't go well, at the quarterback position.
Okay.
Just saying.
Okay.
Oh, man, I don't think Dak is going to be there either, to be honest with you.
More likely, though, Justin Jefferson. Dak
more likely Justin Jefferson.
Percentage-wise.
51-49.
Wow. It is close, ladies and gentlemen. That is
because, like I said, I think they're both going to go.
That is like one ballot missing from a mail-in ballot. Oh, man, we went politics there. See what I did? You see what I did, Ron?
No politics.
Ron, what about your first split decision?
Oh, dude, you're going to love these. So, seeming we just came off of baseball. Who is more likely to get to 200 career wins?
Okay.
I'm not saying they have to be first or anything.
Yeah.
Who's more likely to get there? Is it Chris Sale, who's 35 with 127? Aaron Nola, who's 31 with 96? Or Blake Snell, who's 31 and has 71?
Blake Snell has 71 wins.
That's it.
And how old is he?
31.
Yeah.
Who's more likely to do it?
Chris Sale was what?
127.
127 at 35?
Yes.
So if he did 5 years, 50, still wouldn't make it. Oh, my goodness. And who was...
It's hard, isn't it?
So I don't think Sale. I think he's too old. So it's between Snell and who?
And Aaron Nola. Both are 31.
31.
Aaron Nola has 96 and Blake Snell 71.
I go Aaron Nola, 10 years, 10 wins each year would get him extremely close. Right?
Yeah.
So I go Aaron Nola because I think he's over. I think he could go over 10 wins for 10 years in a row.
So pitching till 41.
He could. I mean, nowadays, it wouldn't surprise me. But again, he could win 15 this year. And again, then you'd only need 5 1 year. So I go Aaron Nola because I think he's more realistic. I think he could go 10 years. Chris Sale, maybe 5. He's not going to get there. And if you're only at 71, Blake Snell, forget it. No way. Not even close.
Yeah, I was looking at that list, Eric. It's appalling on how bad pitching is.
Yeah. Oh, well, it's today. Pitching doesn't matter anymore.
Like you have guys that are all up and down that list from like 70 up. And I don't think there's not many of them that are going to make it.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's a good call. My second split decision, Ron, is also a baseball question. Which National League division leader is more likely not to finish in first place by the end of the season? The Philadelphia Phillies or the Los Angeles Dodgers? Both are about 6 to 6.5 games up. But obviously Atlanta chasing Philadelphia, San Diego chasing Los Angeles.
And there's your answer. Hashtag Philadelphia Phillies. I just don't think that they're gonna be able to outlast Atlanta. I think Atlanta's too good. I think they'll eventually catch them and pass them. I don't think LA is going to give up that first place this year. Not saying that they're going to do well in the playoffs, but they're not giving up first place.
Okay. All right. I'm surprised San Diego's as close as they are. So that was surprising to me when I saw that. I think they're 6 or 6.5. One of them 6, one's 6.5. Yeah. And I'm just like, wow, and Atlanta kind of tailed off. Philadelphia has been very hot, but it's early.
Yeah.
It's very early. So I agree with you on the fact that Philadelphia could be the one just based on the team that's behind them. Ron, your second split decision. I can't even say this
My
fast.
second disposition. All right. This ought to be a good one. Going basketball.
Dun, dun, dun.
Who is more likely to be a multiple MVP player down the road? Now, could start next year. Victor Wembanyama,
Mm-hmm.
Anthony Edwards,
Mm-hmm.
or Luka Doncic?
I'm going Victor Wembanyama. I think the kid's just going to put up ridiculous numbers just based on his size and what he can do. Again, rookie of the year already, block champion this season already. Like the kid's just going to, and again, you get him a little bit of talent around him. I think he's going to be probably one of the most dominant forces in the league for the next 10, 15 years. It's all a matter of
a little more weight.
I don't know if putting on weight would help him because honestly, with his skill and what he can do, it may hurt him. It may hurt him, you know. So he doesn't need. He can still play with the big boys down low because of his length, and we saw that. So I would say Victor. I think Anthony Edwards a close second because I really think this kid, if he can continue to focus on what he needs to do, he'll be there. I like Luka. I really do. I think he's a phenomenal player. My issue with Luka is I just don't like that. There's points and times where I see it on the court. He just takes time off. And I like that alpha. I like the Larry Birds, the Michael Jordans, even the old Detroit Pistons, like Isaiah Thomas. Those guys never took a minute off.
No.
And I just can't stand today's NBA player where it's like, you know what?
I know.
We're up by 20.
It's tough to find those kind of players now.
Yeah, you know, and it just drives me up a wall.
Yeah.
So I would go Victor though.
Okay.
But very good question. Very good question. I like that one. All right, Ron, we're going to talk some NHL. My guy, the hockey guy, a lot happening in the hockey playoffs as we speak. But I will ask you this, Ron. Which game one loss was more alarming in the NHL conference finals? The New York Rangers lost to the Florida Panthers or the Dallas Stars loss to the Edmonton Oilers?
I think it's Dallas Stars losing. It's because of the way it happened. First of all, when you get a power play for 4 minutes in overtime and you don't connect on that, that was your opportunity lost. And therefore, a chance goes by the boards to win game one. You may not even get another chance to win a game.
Yeah, so I agree. Listen, 0 for 5 in the power play in that game for Dallas, right? We've talked about Dallas a lot in the past about offense.
Yeah.
You only gave up 3 goals.
And still lost.
Which Edmonton's much
in double overtime.
Yeah. Edmonton's more capable than any team to score more than that. They have the top 4 scorers in the playoffs currently.
Yeah.
And you got so many questions. We thought Stuart Skinner was going to be the issue. 939 save percentage in that game, Ron.
Yeah.
That doesn't bode well for Dallas. As well as, to your point, if you can't score on a power play when you have that advantage, that's going to absolutely kill your team.
Yeah, and I'll even go a little further with that. The only one that was able to get the puck in the net was Tyler Seguin with 2 goals, right?
Yeah.
The old man, he went out there and he worked his butt off to do what he had to do. And I'm sorry, but Hintz, Jamie Benn, Robertson, you have done nothing in the playoffs. 2 goals for Hintz, 3 for Ben, 3 for Robertson. And they're just not putting up anything. And they need to show up because Dallas is going to get exited out of this Stanley Cup playoffs, and it's basically because of those 3 guys. And taking it even further, Robertson is a -2 on top of it, who doesn't clean up his own end.
What blew my mind, Ron, too, we talked about it, 0 for 5 on the power play. They also won their faceoffs 55.7% of the time. So you controlled the puck more often.
And then you also with it.
And then you also had less giveaways, 9 to 15 for Edmonton. So you played better hockey, can't put the puck in the net against a team that you know you're going to have to score more than 3 goals to beat. Like, look, that's automatic.
This is the Western Conference's version of the Bruins. This is what it is. You can't put the puck in the net. The first thing the GM needs to do after they get eliminated by Edmonton, because it's going to happen now. It's going to happen now.
All right.
The first thing you need to do is go find a goal scorer. Because Robertson is not the guy. He's not the guy. Clearly, he had 1 good year. That's it. He has done nothing. Nothing.
I got a feeling you want Dallas to win this.
I do.
And that's why you're so upset about it.
I am.
Because it shouldn't. You're a double overtime at home. And you get the power play in overtime.
Yes.
And you get the power play in overtime.
4-minute, well, not a major, double minor for. Yeah,
but you took the best player in Edmonton off the ice.
Yes.
Connor McDavid, like off the ice for 4 minutes. And there's your chance to capitalize now.
It was gift wrapped.
We are going to pick this game also in our prediction segment coming up shortly. So stay tuned. If you're joining us live, you want to make sure you're part of this. We get your name on our Sports Unfolded prediction chart as well.
Furious.
I can't tell. I will say this too. Ron, as bad as the Rangers losing 3-0, we talked about the experience.
Yeah.
And I think they'll bounce back. A lot of talent in New York.
Yeah, I hope they do. I mean, look, Florida's a great team.
Although if you lose to Florida, if they lose to Florida, think about this, then the Bruins lost to the team that got to the Stanley Cup. I always used to do that with the Patriots. But I did that with the Patriots every time. I'd be like, hey, at least we lost to the team that ultimately.
So we're really the second best team.
See, there you go. See, that's how you look at it. Thank you.
Oh, I know. That's how I always do.
Ron, it is pick and roll time.
It's time for pick and roll.
Our pick and roll segment tonight. All these retired running backs, and I had to specify that because there are some current active running backs that we did not include in this, that have scored 21 touchdowns. It is season 4, episode 21, overtime of our lives. You could take that for however you want. These running backs all scored 21 touchdowns in a season, and they are Todd Gurley, Larry Johnson, Marshall Faulk, Terry Allen, Joe Morris, and Jim Brown. We had to rank them from 6 to 1. I am first this week, Ron, so I will kick us off, my friend. And I will say this. Some of these guys had okay numbers. I was really surprised. Like, I thought when I'm reading some of the names, I'm like, oh, they didn't have a good career. They actually had pretty good careers. But I went 6. Terry Allen, again, 8,614 yards. I only took their rushing yards. I did not go into the receiving because I knew it would definitely sway this even more to one particular running back. 4.0 average yards per attempt, 73 touchdowns, only 1 Pro Bowl, though. So I went Terry Allen at 6. At 5, I went Larry Johnson. Again, 6,223 yards, a 4.4 yards per average, 55 touchdowns, 2 Pro Bowls, 1 All-Pro. At 4, I went Joe Morris, 1,411 rushing attempts for 5,585 yards, a 4.0 yards per attempt, 50 touchdowns, 2 Pro Bowls, 1 All-Pro. I put him ahead of Larry Johnson because he had the 1 championship. At 3, this guy, if he had stayed healthy, to me, would have put up some phenomenal numbers. Todd Gurley, 6,082 yards in his career, 4.2 yards per attempt, 67 touchdowns, 3 Pro Bowls, 2 All-Pros. He was a Rookie of the Year and a Player of the Year in 2017. This kid was on a path, and then, unfortunately, just injuries took over.
5 seasons.
Yeah. At 2, and he probably would have been number 1 if you include receiving, I went Marshall Faulk. 12,279 yards rushing, 4.3 yards per attempt, 100 touchdowns in his career, a 7-time Pro Bowl, 3-time All-Pro, 1-time MVP. He won Offensive Player of the Year and a championship. Somebody stopped him from winning too. We won't talk about it. Right, that guy right there. That guy right there. And at number 1, Jim Brown, man, still ridiculous numbers. He had almost 500 less rushing attempts than Marshall Faulk and had more rushing yards in his career, 12,312 yards, 5.2 yards per attempt run, which is insane.
5.2, that's a gaudy number.
Yeah, that's insane. 2 rushes, he gets a first down every time.
Right.
You don't even need a third. Just give him twice, give him the ball.
Just
He's
keep
getting a first
handing
down.
him the ball.
100
Why would you give it to anybody
Yeah,
else?
like why? 106 touchdowns in his career, 9-time Pro Bowl, 8-time All-Pro, 3-time MVP. He won Rookie of the Year, and he was a Player of the Year as well. Jim Brown, my number 1 on this week's pick and roll.
So Terry Allen was my number 6, just like you. Number 5, I had Larry Johnson as well.
Not Grandmama either. That was
not Grandmama. I had to double check, make sure, we're not
Look at the
talking
right
about
number.
that.
Hey, shot 30% from 3. Wait, no, wrong.
Exactly. And I put Joe Morris at number 4, just like you did, for the same exact reason, that Super Bowl win.
Yeah.
Number 3, I also had Todd Gurley, because his numbers, he might have surpassed some of the others on this list if he would have stayed healthy and played longer. Like, I would have loved to see him just play 10 years, because that's 5 years, but he was out a lot too.
Yeah. So
just too bad he didn't. I feel like we got cheated and not able to see him play more. 4.2 yards per attempt, 67 touchdowns. And just for the record, I did count the receptions in this. And I still came out with Marshall Faulk at number 2.
Wow.
And number 1, Jim Brown. Because I'll tell you, yes, he had 6,875 yards for Marshall Faulk receiving with 36 touchdowns. Still only gave him 136. And Jim Brown had 126, playing like 58 less games or something like that. 58 less games, and only lost out by 10 touchdowns.
That's insane.
Jim Brown was easily number 1. The numbers are just gaudy. They are something that was just
unimaginable.
Yeah.
And a 5.2 yards per. When I saw that, I'm like, this is ridiculous. You give the guy the ball twice.
When I see his numbers, I put him in a class of one other running back. And Barry Sanders.
Yeah. And those I think honestly
are better than everybody.
I would put him ahead of Barry. Only based on the fact that, again, I think Barry played 1 extra. That's it. This guy's numbers for 1 year less.
Jim Brown has a Super Bowl.
Yeah. Well, a championship.
Yeah. Well, yeah, championship. But still. It's 3 MVPs aren't so shabby either.
Yeah, not too shabby. All right, Ron. It is prediction time. What a good week we had last week. Kenny, big dog.
Wait, before you go further,
yes, sir.
Could you imagine Jim Brown with Tom Brady as a quarterback? They would win Super Bowl every year.
Even a Patrick Mahomes, like now?
Yeah.
Like that would be insane.
Crazy.
Insane, right? Prediction time, my friend. We are going to show you last week's results. Some big wins. I went 6-3. Ron 6-2. Kenny 7-1 last week. A big win. Chakra, you are hopefully still live. Get on tonight. Let us know your picks as well. I don't know if the big dog's on. James, if you're still on, I don't know. He might be having some Fenway Franks right now. But we've got some good numbers here.
A bunch of people watching, so
62% for this guy. Can you beat this guy right here, right now? Because he is on fire. He's hot. All right, Ron.
Yeah, speaking of Fenway Franks.
Oh,
You're a
wow.
hot dog.
Oh, that was a good one. All right, hot dog. Let's talk some NBA action tonight. You got the Dallas Mavericks at the Minnesota Timberwolves. Dallas leads this series 1-0. I went Dallas here. No, I went Minnesota here. I'm sorry. At home, I think they bounce back. Minnesota ties this series up. I just think, again, we talked about it. I don't think they shoot 42% as a team.
Yeah, I went Minnesota as well. Look, I mean, you just got to think they're going to show up, right? Yeah, they're not going to get out rebounded again in their own building. If they do, they're getting swept.
And I think Chris Finch called them out, like really kind of late into his
Bill
expectation.
Finch.
Not Bill Finch. So blast from the past. So hopefully, again, I think they wake up tonight and get that victory. So Minnesota, anybody out there live want to join in? Dallas Mavericks at the Minnesota Timberwolves. Let us know who you pick.
See, poor Kenny isn't here to gloat about being
7-1.
7-1.
Man lost one game last week. Well over 500 now. All right, Ron, second game in the NBA tomorrow. Boston Celtics at the Indiana Pacers. Game 3, Boston up 2-0. Who do you got?
I got Boston. Like, they're not going to lose
You sound so
to
disappointed when you said-
Halliburton. No, without Halliburton, they're dead in the water. Dead in the water.
You sound so disappointed, though.
I am, because, like, this could be a bad thing. Because now
easy.
they're going to get sloppy, and they could cough up the loss and then never recover, right?
Very true, but I'm going Boston as well. I think for a lot of the reasons you said, I think that injury to Halliburton is going to affect how Indiana plays, and
It's going to be limping up and down the court.
I think this is it, man. This could be it. All right, let's talk some NHL, Ron. You got the Florida Panthers at the New York Rangers. That is tonight as well. Game 2. Florida currently leading this series 1-0. I went Rangers here. They bounce back. Shesterkin, I think, has a really good game, and I think offensively, some of those guys, Panarin and a couple of the other players, Kreider, Rangera. The old New York Rangera. So I'm going the Rangeras tonight because I think they're going to wear masks like WWE or something, and that's their alter ego.
Yeah, I'm looking for a big game from Panarin, who's been a little quiet. And, I think Adam Fox is going to gather up the troops with Trouba, and they're going to have a great defensive effort in front of the net. And they're going to take care of business tonight, Rangers.
Who's the guy? A lot of the Rempre?
Oh, yeah.
That all the greats that like Gretzky, all them, like make sure he plays because they want a little bit of toughness and knock some people's block off. It's kind of crazy. Tomorrow as well, the Edmonton Oilers at the Dallas Stars, game 2. Edmonton's up 1-0. Ron, who do you have?
Well, I got Edmonton.
Wow.
They lost their chance. That was it. Edmonton's going to roll. I would look for a 6th spot tonight.
Tomorrow,
next game.
Yeah. I went Dallas here. I think Dallas wakes up. I think they figure it out.
I hope so, but I don't see it.
Yeah, I think Ottinger's gonna control. Listen, he gave up 3 goals, which isn't bad. I think we just got to see some offensive firepower.
Yeah, right. I mean, he's the guy that's going to have to be the one, right? He's going to have to be.
Definitely. So tonight starts series, some old school, baby. Chicago Cubs at the St. Louis Cardinals. 3-game set. We've got to pick the winner of the 3-game set. I went St. Louis here at home.
Yeah, I don't like the way that they're playing, so I went Chicago. Chicago's got a winning record. St. Louis doesn't. I think it extends, by a game. So Chicago 2-1.
Okay. All right. I like it. MLS action. Tomorrow, Minnesota United at the Colorado Rapids.
This is an interesting one because it's in Colorado, okay? And yes, the air is a little thinner up there. But Minnesota is much better as a team. So I'm leaning Minnesota here.
I went Minnesota as well.
Don't be surprised if it's a tie.
Yeah, we went Colorado last week. Didn't go well for us. So I went the other route this week. Tomorrow as well, the undefeated Connecticut Sun at the Chicago Sky. And Angel Reese, it's done really well as the rookie. Currently might win Rookie of the Year over Caitlin Clark. We can watch that. Keep an eye on that. I think Connecticut stays undefeated here. They are playing some really good basketball. And I went Connecticut.
Well, I feel the sky is falling, so Connecticut rolls again. The sky falls by at least 10.
Okay. All right. Tomorrow as well, Ron, UFL, your team, the Birmingham Stallions at the San Antonio Brahmas.
They don't lose.
The 8-0. San Antonio 6-2.
Knock his block off, Rock.
You can't win. I guess I got to die trying. All right. What do you got? You going Stallions? Going Stallions?
The Italian Stallions, of course. 9-0 now. 9-0.
Think they're winning the championship. I went Stallions as well. After all that drama, I think I'll agree with you there. That Stallions just look so good right now. Oh, boy.
Adrian.
On Sunday, NASCAR Coca-Cola 600 in Charlotte. We need a top 5 driver. Ron, I went Kyle Larson, who in the last 3 years is over 360 times has led. Yes. And I just feel like he's going to be in the top 5.
Okay,
once
so
again.
Here's the wrinkle with Larson. Now, I don't know which race is first, but he's running 2 races, one in Indianapolis and one in Charlotte. I don't know which race is first, but
on the same day?
What?
Probably Indianapolis would be on Saturday, I would think.
Well, it's the same day.
It is.
And he's running both the races.
Awesome.
So I was going to pick him because he's even won this race in 2021, if I'm not mistaken. But then I shied away from it, and I'm like, okay, I don't know if he's going to be able to handle this, so I don't think he's going to win. He might place in the top 5. But I want a winner.
You want the winner?
I want the winner, and I'm going Denny Hamlin.
Good pick. All right. Very good. Very good. That is our prediction segment. Again, if you'd like, you can join us live every week. And you can let us know who you pick so you can get your name on our prediction chart and continue to help us, expand a little bit on that. See if you can beat us, because right now we are hot. We are hot. Ron, it is time for final thoughts. And our final thoughts don't necessarily have to be about anything sports related. It could be about anything happening in the world today. But before we get into our final thoughts, can you tell all the wonderful people out there how they can get their name on our banners and be a sponsor of Sports Unfolded and continue to get hundreds of thousands of ears and eyes on their business every single week?
Right here. That's how you do it. ribroadcasting.media@gmail.com. Send us an email. We can send you out all the information. Do it now, because I just got word that the numbers for the Nielsen ratings for the radio come out a little earlier than August. So now you're running out of time. You're running out of time, because once those numbers come out, the sponsors are sure to flock to us. So I would do it now. It costs less than going to your local coffee shop and getting a large coffee and a chocolate eclair. Less than that.
You can also like, share, follow our show on many different social media platforms. Send bits, stars as well. You can buy me a coffee as well to do that. You can listen to us on Spotify, Google, Amazon, Red Circle, TuneIn, Podbean podcast. So many different ways that you can like and share and subscribe. Subscribe to us on YouTube, Twitch, again, Facebook. Follow us. Share our show as well. Make sure you get other people to see how great content. This is the best sports podcast on the planet. Why not share it with everybody? Because I think that once you lock into Sports Unfolded, you're not going to want to listen to anybody else. And we are live every Friday night, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Rhode Island Broadcasting. You can't miss us. You can follow us on all our social media platforms, as we discussed, TikTok and Instagram, besides the YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Twitters, we
We're everywhere.
So check us out. Continue to like, share, and follow us. Ron, it is final thoughts time. And as usual, I have two, because this is what I do now every single week. But my first one is for JB Bickerstaff, who's been fired by the Cleveland Cavaliers. And this really pisses me off, because the man not only had a good playoff run, thinking about not having your top player in Jared Allen and Donovan Mitchell, who missed games 5 and 6 against Boston. In 5 seasons, his record doesn't sound great, 170 and 159. But in the last 3 seasons, 44 wins, 51 wins, 48 wins. Pretty good coach. I don't understand why these teams continue to do this, where they give a guy 3 to 4 years and then decide, oh, we're going to move on and start over. He's done a very good job of building this team up over the last few years. Donovan Mitchell may not even stay. If he does, he seems to fit well with what they're doing there. Why would you want to eliminate him now? Based on what you saw in the playoffs, that team should not have been where they were. And he was able to get a first-round victory and got them to 6 games in the second round against a very good Boston Celtics team. I think he's going to find another job, but I just think that these owners have to really stop and think about what you're doing. Give a guy a 6-7 year plan and then see where you go. 4 years, just not enough to me, especially with all the free agency and everything that happens in the NBA now. My second one, I want to congratulate Toronto, who has won the WNBA bid for 2026 to get themselves a team. So now not only is the WNBA going to be in the United States, internationally, we will have a team in Canada. I'm really proud to see the growth of this league, because I really think it's good quality basketball. I went again a couple weeks ago to see a Sun game, and I thought, listen, these women, play so hard that, I mean, it's just good quality basketball.
It is.
They'll have 14 teams by 2026 now with this addition. Next season, Golden State Valkyries will be in the WNBA as well. So we'll have a 13 team. And
Valkyries, huh? That's interesting, because it kind of goes with the Warriors.
So really excited to see how this league continues to grow. A lot of great rookies this year that we've seen, not just Caitlin Clark, Angela Reese. So you're getting to see some quality basketball, and it's going to continue to grow. So congratulations, Toronto. Can't wait to see what that team name is as well.
Oh, well, if they do it like Golden State, it's got to be a dinosaur.
Right, exactly.
Toronto Stegosaurus.
Right, something.
That was my favorite, the Stegosaurus with the scales down the back.
So we've got to make that happen, Ron. I think you start that campaign now.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Let's go. Nice job. Nice job. You took mine. Thank you very much. I was going to do the Bickerstaff.
Nope.
Because it ties in with when I complained so much about St. Louis firing their manager when they made the playoffs when they weren't supposed to. Do you remember that? When they made the playoffs and they weren't even supposed to be there because everybody was picking Milwaukee, and they won the division, went to the playoffs, and then had to play, I think, Atlanta. Like, good luck with that, right? And then they fired the coach, and they've been sub 500 since. Stupid move, Cleveland, because now you're going to go right back down the toilet, and you're losing your good guys because they're all going to walk because they don't want to be there now because you're firing the coach that got them to the playoffs and made a difference for this team. He made a difference, and now you just threw it away because they couldn't beat the Boston Celtics. I mean, really? Really? You're an idiot. Idiot.
Wow. Hey, Toronto's Maple Leafs coach just got hired?
Yeah, I didn't see who got him, but that's my assignment for tonight, right?
Right. So lot happening in the sports world. So once again, this is Sports Unfolded. We cover all of the top sports stories going on in the world today. We are on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, live every Friday night, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We are on WDJY 99.1 FM in Dallas, Georgia, Saturdays between 1 p.m. and 3 p.m. And we are on Southeast Connecticut, Public Access, Channel 12, every Tuesday at 10 p.m. If you're watching us or listening to us on any of those platforms, check us out Friday nights. Join us. We are live, fan interactive. Love to talk to everybody and just have a good time. That's what our show is about. We don't just talk about sports. We'll talk about anything other than politics and religion. So you want to talk about movies, anything.
Kenny wasn't able to be here tonight, but he can listen to the show tomorrow on WDJY. Eventually, I'll get it right.
WKRP in Cincinnati. I thought that's where you were going with that.
Oh, yeah, that was a great show.
It was a great show.
Johnny Fever.
Lot going on in the sports world. We will continue to cover it as well. NHL postseason show, great insight. Check it out. NBA postseason show as well with the big dog. Phenomenal as well. We talk a lot about what's going on. Check us out on our NBA playoff rankings, our NHL playoff rankings, and now our Major League Baseball season rankings. As the season continues, we will update them. So much going on in the sports world, Ron. I want to thank you for your sports insight every single week. I think we have one of the best shows ever.
Who else has a better one?
And all we're asking for, continue to support us. And let's get a sponsor on that banner sooner than later, Ron. Because I think, again, thousands of eyes on your business every single week. How important would that be? Again, I want to thank everybody that's joined us. Like Chakra, thank you for 16 months in a row of subscribing to Rhode Island Broadcasting and all the great content that's on there as well. James from Fenway, eating his Franks right now, I'm sure. But James joining us from Fenway. You can join us from anywhere. You could be on the beach. Join us, 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It don't matter. We'll talk some sports with you. We'd love to see you. Send us pictures. Whatever you need to do, make sure they're clean. Got to be family-oriented show. That's what we do here at Sports Unfolded. But check out our Sports Unfolded.
Going to be looking forward to that email now.
There we go. Ron, before we go, our last final Sports Unfolded Hall of Fame nominees for the NBA. Check them out on the Sports Unfolded Sports Poll page. Scottie Pippen, Charles Barkley, Patrick Ewing, Oscar Robinson, Kobe Bryant. Help us induct one of them into our Sports Unfolded Hall of Fame, as well as our WNBA nominees. And they are Cynthia Cooper, Lisa Leslie, Cheryl Swoops, Tina Thompson, and Sue Bird. Let's get one of them into the Sports Unfolded Hall of Fame, which are voted by the fans, which is so important. We're going to bring up who's in those Sports Unfolded Hall of Fame currently in baseball. Babe Ruth, Hank Aaron, Pete Rose, Willie Mays. Yes, Pete Rose. You know why? The fans wanted it. In hockey, Bobby Orr, Gordie Howe, Mario Lemieux, Wayne Gretzky, some of the greatest to ever do it. Tennis, Martina Navratilova and Pete Sampras. We'll cover every sport. Football, Barry Sanders, Jerry Rice. The man we talked about today on our pick and roll, number one, Jim Brown, Joe Montana, and Lawrence Taylor. In soccer, Mia Hamm and Pele. Boxing, Muhammad Ali, the great Muhammad Ali. Basketball, Bill Russell, Irvin, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, Michael Jordan. So somebody from that list that we just gave you will join them next month. Mario Andretti and Richard Petty for auto racing. So a lot of great athletes out there. We cover all of the sports. Let us know if there's a particular category you want us to put into the Sports Unfolded Hall of Fame, and we will look at that as well. Ron, I will see you.
Oh, I'm surprised James hasn't chirped in with curling or something.
It's going to happen. Ron, we'll see you next Friday at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on Rhode Island Broadcasting. Again, like, share, follow our show as much as possible. We are growing every single day, and we want to continue to do that. Help us continue to grow. Tell people about how great the show is. Have them join us live so we can talk to them as well. I will see you, Ron, next Friday. I hope by then maybe we'll have a Stanley Cup Finals preview show before that.
Maybe.
Could happen. NBA preview final show as well coming up. And don't forget to check out the Major League Baseball rankings on Sports Unfolded page. So check those out. And we will see you next Friday night, 6 p.m. And all we ever ask for every single show is peace on earth.
Have a great night, everybody.